Hello. I'm making a video on this book here, The Artist's Way. You know, the funny quick story is that I have this book. I've had it for 2 years already, and I only bought it because I had heard about morning pages, but at the time I didn't actually get into this book. I just wanted to have it. But 2 years ago, or a little more, even before I had this book, I was doing morning pages already. But I knew that there was like a 12-week course in here, and at the time, I wanted to get more information about morning pages instead of just looking it up on the internet. I wanted to have the book because I know it's a staple for a lot of people. So I wanted to have it, but I didn't actually get into the course until 2 years later. So that's what this book is about. So I have been called to do this 12-week course now in April of 2024, and so it's a 12-week course, and I decided to go for it. I feel committed. I love learning, and I want to just do it, right? So I got called to do it. And I just completed it. Today's my last day of week 1. So I have completed my first week of the 12-week course of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And I wanted to talk about that. So I completed my first week, and maybe you've seen already a lot of videos about The Artist's Way and the 12-week course, but every person's weekly check-in is different. But generally, the week 1 is obviously we're all following the same book for week 1. You have to do your morning pages every day. You have to do your artist dates, and you have to read the tasks. Well, it's an option if you can do all of these things. Do the tasks or the exercises that are part of each week, and and just mainly do the morning pages as much as possible every day. I just want to do, and today's the end of week 1, so I wanted to review my check-in. I wanted to review what I've gathered since starting. So I did my morning pages, 3 pages a day for the last 7 days. I started on a Monday, and today's Sunday. So Monday coming up tomorrow, I would start week 2. Okay, so what was week 1 about? Julia Cameron talks about shadow artists and how a lot of people are afraid to tap in, or even aware that they have their own creative power, that they think that only certain people have the power to obtain creativity and use it wisely. So this chapter helps you to identify the shadow art, if you yourself are a shadow artist, because it helps you. A lot of people are afraid to even acknowledge, or never felt nurtured or supported to have that creativity, to have that attention towards your own creativity. So this helps you. Helps anyone identify their own creativity within, allows you to tap into. We're all human. We are creation, and we don't have to be quote unquote an artist to be creative. So this is for anybody, and it helps kind of tap into our own creative juice, our own creative power, and which in turn leaves you kind of getting connected to a bigger, higher version of yourself, which is what we always want, right? We want to continue to develop and see where our blind spots are, and how we can tweak certain parts of our lives to just live a more brightly courageous, colorful life. So one of the exercises on week 1 that I loved so much was, if I had 5 other lives to live, which ones would they be? And I love this one because I'm always thinking about, or sometimes I catch myself kind of being negative towards myself for not having a life that I should have. And this book helps me to kind of remove the judgment part and just be like, just have fun with the ideas of what your life could be without judging yourself for why it's not where you want it to be. So that really brought a different, fresh perspective to my life, that you don't need to be mad at yourself for not having the things that you have been dreaming about. Just the main thing is to begin to live that life or imagine that life that you want for yourself before it actually comes into fruition. If anything, you have to imagine it first for yourself before it actually comes. Because your body can't tell the difference. Your body and your mind cannot tell the difference between, like, if it's a real situation or a fake situation that you're making up in your mind. But as long as you put it in your head that you want that for yourself, your body starts to believe it and connect to the truth of that, and you start to live in that vibration. So it's there's so much truth to that aligns with it. So it removes all the excess annoying dramatic voices that make you feel less than. Also, it's a little caveat that I want to mention. I've been off of Instagram for a month actually today, and for a lot of the reasons where I would compare myself too much or see other people's lives and feel like my life isn't good enough. So it kind of naturally called me to get into this 12-week course, because it very, very much aligned with my views right now, where I don't want to compare myself. I want to just focus and hone in on my own power, my own strength, my own creative artistic talent. I know that I have my own, and I just have to be able to delineate and identify what my truths are, and not confuse them or convolute them with other people's dreams and what they're living, because sometimes we get caught up in what people's lives or what life should be like, and we end up trying to adopt a life that we don't even want for ourselves, but we just think it's the thing that everybody's doing that you have to do too, but you don't even know that that's really something you want. So it really helps to be off Instagram during this time, or any social media platform that is like abusing of your time and your self-worth and your own ideas of what it means to have a successful life or whatever. So I was able to do this exercise of these 5 lives, right? And I'm not going to get into the details of it, but in that exercise it tells you, okay, once you identify your 5 lives, choose one and get something, or begin to live that life for this week. Like, what can you do to kind of live that life? So I got like a sense of satisfaction, like it just felt like I became that person, and it's almost like I succeeded in some way in that avenue. So it almost felt like it wasn't that far of a reach to go there, like if I hadn't done this exercise, I would have been thinking, oh, I wonder when I'll be that person. And then before I knew it, I became that person during this week, because it was a task, and also it was such an idea that I had never thought about. So it was just really cool to do that. It felt like a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction in that moment. So yeah, the book talks about shadow artists and how to identify that part of you that censors you, that tries to bring you down, the voice that says you're not good enough, only other people are good enough, and listening to that voice but not attaching yourself to that voice, and instead changing that censor, changing those blurts, as Julia Cameron says, to affirmations, identifying pretty much like your core negative beliefs that you have about yourself, and she shows you how to convert them into affirmations, where it's like more positive outlook and living as if they already exist within you, a positive way of being. So it's been really nice to revisit that and work on it in a different way, work on my thoughts and my ways and my beliefs, and kind of tweaking them, and kind of just being nice to myself, being gentle with myself, going slower with myself. So it feels good. It really feels good to get back into morning pages. It's been a while. I decided Yeah, because I was doing morning pages. I think the last ones I did, I filled up 3. They were like 3 kind of, I think they were like 5x7 notebooks. And there's like a bee right here. But now with this 12-week course, I wanted to get myself a notebook that was gonna contain the whole 12 weeks worth of morning pages. So that equated to about almost 300 pages. So I needed a notebook for that. So I'm using a notebook, a big thick notebook for the 12-week course. If you guys are wondering what to get, I would recommend at least a 250 page notebook where you can have all your morning pages for 12 weeks, and maybe some wiggle room for exercises and tasks that are assigned to you within the book, unless you want a separate notebook for that. But I kind of like it all in one place. What else? So the artist date. What did I do for my artist date this week? I feel like the color yellow has really called to me this week, or maybe I'm in a season of yellow, that I ended up buying my notebook. This was, since it's week 1, I bought myself a thick, beautiful notebook with 300 pages, and I loved the yellow. It just makes me feel good and happy, and I want to feel motivated to use it, and this just makes me feel light and just ready to go, ready to handle this 12-week course. And what's crazy is that part of this artist date, I wouldn't even say it was an artist date. It kind of just happened that way for me, because I was shopping for my boyfriend at the mall within this past week, and I just decided to go to a store that I wanted to go to on the way, and I ended up seeing some bright yellow classic Reeboks, and they were just popping up, and I was like, oh wow, these are meant for me. They were like calling for my attention. So I ended up buying them. I don't have them right now. They are inside the house. But how crazy is that? Yellow is what was like a running theme this week for me. My yellow notebook and my yellow Reebok shoes. And I think that's kind of cool. It kind of became an artist date because I treated myself to something that just called to me. And usually artist dates are more quirky and they kind of feed your soul. And the color yellow is something that a lot of people are afraid to get into. It's like kind of like, ooh, that's a little, off the wayside a little bit. And I just thought, yeah, this is perfect for me. People are usually more like on the safe side with the beige and the white shoes, or the blue or the black. And I just love a good pop of color. And that was my artist date without me really thinking too much about it. It just worked out that way. So that was really cool. So yeah, I have my morning pages filled out. I did every day for the past week. So 3 pages, 3 pages, 3 pages. Also, I do want to share a random little observation for myself. Since I've written morning pages for a while, even before this 12-week course, the idea of morning pages is to write as much as possible without picking up your pen from the paper so much, and just keep writing and flowing, But because it's 3 pages, it can get tiring. So I do recommend not having a very fine tip, because it's more controlled, and you have to kind of, for me personally, I've noticed that you have to kind of hold the pen a little, like for it to be legible, you have to write smaller. Even if you don't want it to be legible, it just feels like there's less control when it's a very small. You have to really try to control it to keep writing, and it's a lot of, because it's so fine, it's such a small fine point, like a 0.38 or a 0.25. Those are all like fine point. I used to have like my own biases about writing in a 0.5 or a 0.7 pen or a 1.0 pen, but I've realized that with morning pages, I'm better off with a bold point, because since I'm writing so fast, it immediately just drops the ink quick and my hand just flows and I don't have to be so cramped with my hand. I just kind of write very smooth and let the pen just do the work for me. So that kind of takes away the cramping for me. So just a little random tip. It might work for you. I prefer a bolder point. This is a Pilot G2 1.0. I love these pens, but I prefer 0.38 or I think the smallest they have is a 0.38 for the Pilot G2s, and those are awesome, but I don't like those for morning pages. So just a tip if you guys are interested or curious to know what pen might work for you. I haven't found this to really cramp my hand as much as other pens do, especially because it has a grip too. It's a good pen. Anyway, that was a side note. Almost done here. I'm just reviewing my check-ins. So you're able, basically, it helps. This chapter allows you to identify and reintroduce yourself to, or kind of change your ideas or identify the ideas you have about creativity, and if they're negative, it allows you to kind of change those ideas for yourself and start to believe that you are capable of being a creative being and tapping into that power within. So it allows you to identify your enemy, identify your allies within, and convert your negative beliefs into affirmations about yourself. I wrote a letter to myself, which was really cool, and I added it in here in my little notebook. So this was part of one of the exercises as well. And but as far as you guys, I think what's more important for what you guys want to know about is, have I had any revelations this week? I would say so, but nothing that I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, that's so cool, I had a huge aha moment. Nothing like that. They were kind of more minor, but I'm okay with it. I know that, things are just gonna come as they come, if they will come, and I believe they will. But for me, since starting this whole week, I've been having a lot of like nostalgia and thinking about times in my life when I was very courageous and brave. Specifically, like when I went on a backpacking trip about 9 years ago with my girlfriends and my sister. We went backpacking for a month in Mexico, and that was such a brave, courageous time in my life. And how crazy that this is coming up for me when this week was about being courageous, being back in touch with our own power and all of that. And I just been thinking off and on subconsciously, like, I miss those times. Like, I get these great feelings of this freedom of part of myself, this like brave part of myself that I want to hone in on my day-to-day basis, not just on times when I go on a trip, but I was also thinking about when I did my solo trip to Portugal, and it just brings so many good memories, and I just want to keep living in that frequency. So for some reason that was coming up for me during this time. And then another thing, I just recently had surgery. But before surgery, I had thought about, because it was a whole new year of 2024, I started to think of my goals for the year, but I couldn't really think about my goals or actualizing them until after my surgery. So now that my surgery is over and I'm 2 weeks post-op, now, since doing this the morning pages, it came up again, the idea of these goals that I've had in mind. So now that I'm 2 weeks post-op and I'm feeling great, I'm feeling amazing, now I want to focus on my physical health again. Like, I want to exercise more. I want to, like, specifically, I want to go run. I want to go just get into running. Never been a runner, never liked it, but I know that that's such a easy, affordable, free way of exercising, feeling good about yourself, and just improving your health. And that's what I want to do now that, and then, I just want to do that for this year, and I just want to continue to just like I'm ready to focus on myself again, focus on my, not that I lost track of that, but I couldn't focus on my health, my physical exercise, because of having to prep for surgery and then after the fact of recovery. So now I feel like I'm in a good space to get back into exercising. So yeah, so that was a cool like reminder, a cool observation that I noticed within the week. But yeah, that is it. That is all I have. That's all I wanted to share. This is week 1, and I'm excited. 12 weeks of this. Now it's 11 weeks left over, right? But I plan to do a weekly check-in video for you all and see what's new, what has come up for me. Yeah, it's been a while, so I'm excited. I can't wait to, I don't know, just to look back later and just see it all completed and just be like, wow, look at all these changes, look at all these observations. But yeah, I anticipate to have this thick 300-page notebook filled out by the end of my 12 weeks. That's 3 months. Yeah, that's 3 months of doing this course, and I think it's just a perfect timing. But yeah, I'm very excited and I'm ready to just take on week number 2 and check in with you all later. All right.